Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're all doing very well on this Sunday evening show. Never seem to do Sunday evening shows because we always play on match days on a Sunday. But we had a Saturday game, so we got the Sunday evening show for you guys. We're going to be reviewing the Everton game, talking about the positives, talking about any negatives as well, anything that we think we might need to improve, addressing the latest news, and going player by player as well. I think there's some great things to talk about. There's also some things that you think maybe not so good as well. So smash that like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and if you want to help out a little bit more, you can also become a member of the channel as well. There is more details by the description. Also, yes, Skender, you are absolutely right. Guck Liverpool. If we're keeping this PG. Man, I didn't even watch the game, I'll be honest with you. I'm more interested in Forest and Man City. Did you watch the Forest game, Scott? Did you watch that?
No, I haven't watched any football. I was watching a couple of live streams. I was watching someone for the United game, like a watch along, and then the Tottenham game as well. But no, I didn't actually watch the games.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I just watched the Forest game, and they were so unlucky, Scott. You know, they hit the post like 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
That's fucking mate. Gibbs White did a left-footed volley, so they were 2-0 down basically. No, they were 1-0 down. Sorry, half time. Playing pretty poor, to be fair. Then Nuno brought on Elanga. Got a chance straight away, should have scored, like easy, relatively simple finish. And you were like, oh, God, here we go. Then Gibbs White hit the post with a left-footed volley from outside the box. It was like unbelievable. Hit the post. Then he hit the post. Then he hit the bar. So he hit the post twice. Oh, mate, there's so many chances, honestly. I can't believe Forest go out like that. Like they should have at least had... They have added time in the semi-finals of the FA Cup, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, they should have at least had added time. I mean, that's what I was hoping for. I was thinking, right, we're competing against both of these teams, so can we at least just make them run? But didn't even get that. It seemed like a relatively easy win for City, but it was far from it. Far from it. I'll tell you who looked great, Scott. Kovacic. He looked good. He looked really good. But yeah, a lot of vulnerabilities, a lot of weaknesses, which makes me think that in their upcoming games in the league, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped any points. But yeah, man, listen, we're here to talk Chelsea. We're going to talk about the Everton game. Obviously, you watched that game. What do you take from it initially? I mean, how are you feeling? We got the win. So, you know, it can't all be certainly not bad on that side. But, I mean, talk to me about performance, just your general feelings.
I thought it was a great performance. I thought it was an excellent game. It's the type of game we haven't had too many of this season where we kept control of the game for the whole game. And even when we didn't have control, certain players bailed us out a little bit, which we haven't had this season, really, mainly in defence. But yeah, I thought it was excellent. I thought the front line worked really well outside of Palmer. I thought he was probably the only negative, I think, in the whole game. Midfield was just working with Lavia in there. I thought he was excellent on his return. Look, there was a couple of moments where he looked like you could tell he was coming back into fitness, but nothing where like he was off a step. It was just the occasional moment where you could tell, okay, he needs to get fully up to speed rather than like being at 80% or whatever. But no, I just thought it was excellent. Defense was excellent. Like outside the a couple moments, but Sanchez had one of those games we haven't really seen since Bournemouth, where he, like, after being potentially concussed in the first half, or at least he was passing like he was concussed in the first half. Second half was excellent with the saves he was making. The one from Beto, was it Beto or McNeil?
Yes, it was Beto, great save.
The one I was thinking
That's the only good thing that Beto did in that game. He had such a poor game.
Yeah, he didn't really do anything.
From an Everton perspective.
The two centre backs had him like locked up for most of the game. The McNeil one was the one I was thinking of, the like half volley where he gets down, pushes that around the post. Yeah, like I said, I thought it was an excellent game. Jackson gets his goal, a really nice goal. It's a goal again we haven't seen too much of, just from a team perspective, like winning the ball up high,
Mate,
quick passing.
that's his first goal from outside the box in his
Yeah.
career. I couldn't believe that when I heard it. I couldn't believe it.
That makes sense. You see the way he strikes the ball, and it really makes sense. But also, like, he's only been playing for like 3 or 4 years professionally. So it kind of makes sense. But yeah, like I just thought it was excellent. Like I said, the only negative was Palmer, but this was a game where he could play poor, and we still kept everything going. Like, shout out to Madueke, by the way, and shout out to Enzo for actually doing that and putting Madueke on the left, and it worked. Thought he was excellent. Really gave first Patterson and then Young before he came off. Just a torrid time down the left hand side. And yeah, like it worked, and should be carry on using. It should do this going forward, but obviously depending on the centre backs, like what you want to do there. And the biggest positive for me was we kept a clean sheet, and it's in a game where I said before we haven't really had too many of those. Where you look at like the Fulham game that we lost 2-1, that should have been a 1-0 win like this one, but too many defensive mistakes and not having moments where your goalkeeper can win you points. Like, this is only, as I said, the second game I can remember outside of Bournemouth where Sanchez has really done that this season. And so, yeah, like, we need more of those. Potentially Forest.
But I get your point. I see what you're saying.
But yeah, like, we need more of these if we're going to finish in the top 5, especially with the teams we've got coming up, especially with our record against the teams we've got coming up. So yeah, like, we just need to carry it on. Like, as good as a performance as it was, and as good as a win as it was, it needs to be continue going forward.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's interesting as well when you look on X. I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff. I'm sure you probably stumbled across one or two. I did a couple of interviews, and I was a little bit surprised with.
I saw them.
I mean, Lewis said to me, "We've got to do a reaction to it." There's one particular interview I did with an older gentleman called Glenn, who, by the way, I just want to say, he's a really nice bloke. He is proper Chelsea, and you know, people's opinions, they don't have to be the same. It's quite a unique opinion, and maybe, you know, it would be a good thing to watch the whole interview rather than just a clip, because a clip can only say so much. But I think it's worth just reacting to what Glenn said, just to have an idea of how some fans are still feeling. By the way, Glenn's not the only one, but this is one that I can share. Let's just have a look.
How many games have we lost this year against teams that we would roll over every game? You know, it is so bad. It's so bad.
So even after the 1-0 win today, do you still feel underwhelmed?
Do you know what? I'd have been happy with a draw today.
Okay, well,
that's how bad we're playing. All this side footing, back to side, back, doesn't work. How many games?
What's your initial reaction to that, Scott?
I'll preface what I'm about to say kind of similar to you. This is nothing against the person. I obviously don't know Glenn. I've never met him before.
By the way, it's my first time interviewing Glenn as well, so I didn't know him before this game. But he is a really nice bloke. He's a good bloke.
He seems it, but it's comments like that that give credence to the idea that some Chelsea fans and other fans have in other fan bases, that there are portions of fan bases that would prefer to lose games 4-3 and be entertained for 90 minutes than win 1-0 and be bored.
Well, I mean, let's be in it. I mean, if I'm as a match going fan, I'd rather win 4-3 because it is more entertaining. I mean, that's great. But I appreciate what you're saying in that. I think actually the argument was even worse than that, Scott. It was that you'd rather draw 4-4 than win 1-0. Because it was a win at the end of the day.
To say you'd be happy to take a point after a win, we haven't had a lot of recently. A win in which we dominated for at least 70 minutes, and the only reason we didn't dominate is because we noticeably took our foot off the gas, and like Everton were also pushing to get the win. But that's fine. That's the type of wins we haven't had enough this season. In fact, I don't know if we've had any wins like that this season outside of this one. None of them come to mind. Actually, outside of maybe Bournemouth. Yeah, it's also saying you take a point in a moment where we needed. If we didn't win that game yesterday, top Champions League was finished, done. It's dead. If we didn't get the win, so I find that. Like, I just find that ludicrous, to be completely honest, to have that opinion. And like I said, it's just all it comes down to is boredom. That's why it's because people, match going fans in particular, and you may be including this. I'm not necessarily saying you are, but just in general, they're bored. Like I said, this is why, like, people would rather be entertained and to draw games or to scrape games 4-3 or whatever. And it's like that's not sustainable in football. Never has been.
Okay, so you appreciate, because I am very much on the side that I would rather be entertained as a match going fan. Very much. That is why you pay to watch matches. If you don't care about entertainment, then you wouldn't pay to watch football in the first place. You just wouldn't. You would not.
No,
the reason you love football is because you are entertained. That's the reason you love football. That's the reason I love football. I don't watch it because it's boring. That's not the reason we watch it.
No,
Alex,
that's not the reason why. Last season was entertaining.
You're telling me, Scott, that you don't find. Are you telling me that? So, okay, let me rephrase. Do you find football entertaining? Yes or no?
Yes.
What makes football entertaining to you? By the way, I'm not sitting on this, guys. I'm not sitting on Glenn's side here. I'm just trying to. I totally appreciate this match going view that it is boring. Just to be clear, although I didn't say that after the game, that wasn't my initial thought, but I appreciate where he's coming from in that sense. I wouldn't have taken a draw.
I watch it to be entertained by players, by certain players, by certain styles, and I mean that in terms of how teams match up with each other. But like ultimately, I don't care as long as we win. Like
Scott, why do you look? If all you cared about was right, you're a young kid. I don't know how old you are, 13, whatever. You're obviously a Chelsea fan for whatever reason, family, blah blah blah. Okay, you do not watch Chelsea to see them win. You watch winning is part of it, true. Winning is a bonus. Entertainment is the number one reason we watch football. It is the number one reason. It's the number one reason why I watched Forest versus City. It's the reason I'm interested in Champions League games.
Also, you picked the wrong age. It's not. When you first get into football, I'll be honest, how I first got into football, it was the players. I don't know how old you are. It was being entertained by players. Like, football is always and has always and will always be about winning, because especially in England, I don't know how it is in other countries. It is, because
why would you support a local team then?
Say again?
Why would you support a local team? They don't enjoy the success of teams like Chelsea. I would argue there's a lot of games.
That's something different.
And I find it more entertaining than Chelsea.
That's cool. That's not like I watch the MLS because it's entertaining, but I don't support anything, and I don't really care about teams winning, and I don't really care about it.
That's why you watch it, right? Because
no, that's cool.
But you don't care.
I watch that league because it's entertaining. I don't support any teams. Being a supporter, like, it's about winning. Like, because at the end of the day, and like I said, I don't know how it is for other countries. In England, especially with like the age gap, age you mentioned, when you're around 13, 14, 15, you're in secondary school. The last thing you want to do, and so many people have experienced this and have given this to other people, is going into school one day and your team has just lost, and like, I have to go to work every day with an Arsenal fan.
How's that?
Like, do you know, it's horrible, because do you know how annoying it was, and do you know how much I did not want to talk about football the day after they beat Real Madrid in Madrid?
Yeah. No, I appreciate what you're saying, Scott. I do appreciate winning is obviously important, but I'm just saying, as a match going fan, that is not why you pay for tickets. That is not why you subscribe to Sky Sports to watch games. You don't subscribe to
What's your favourite moment as a Chelsea fan? Ever?
The most emotional game. I've only ever cried at 2 games. I cried when we lost the Carabao Cup final against Man City when Kepa refused to go off.
Okay.
And I cried when we beat United 4-3 last season.
Those are the only 2 games you cried at?
That's the only 2 games I've cried at.
Cool.
I was in Port, I was in Baku, I didn't cry. There were amazing moments, don't get me wrong. Amazing.
To my knowledge, I've cried once at a football game. It was the moment we won the Champions League the first time. I remember where I was. I remember what I was doing. I remember everything about that evening. Why did I remember it? Because we won the Champions League for the first time.
And that's an amazing thing, Scott. But, you know,
I don't care how we
with
played.
all due respect, Everton aren't Bayern Munich.
We won.
No, we did win. Scott, again, I'm not sitting on Glenn's side entirely. I see one thing that he says, and I do agree with it. It is a bit boring. Like, we can all agree with that. Do you not agree that the football's a little bit boring? If it wasn't boring, why are people saying it's boring?
Because they're bored. I don't find it that boring. There are times when I've found it boring, but I would not say, how do I word this? It has been boring at times this season, 100%, but there have also been times when it has been furthest thing from boring. That's because we've been winning.
Exciting,
and I'll be honest, like, this is where it comes. Like, it just comes. It's the same thing with Sarri. Like, it was the same thing when Sarri was here. People just get bored, and because they're bored, they think that we're terrible. It was the same when Tuchel was here as well. Like, outside of us winning the Champions League, when we were playing like we played against Everton, I was there when we were playing Everton away and we lost 1-0 when Richarlison scored the counter attack. Like, that was horrible. That was a boring game. Like, we played that plenty of times under Tuchel. We played that plenty of times under Sarri. We played that plenty of times under Maresca. We played plenty of games like that under Mourinho. We played like that Conte. Like, when people get bored, they think it's bad. It's not always the case. Like, you can be boring and win games.
If you win trophies, then that's fine. Someone just put, did you watch Mourinho's teams? Yeah, that you have the license to be boring. I just don't see why you have the license to be boring when you're not competing for trophies. Conference League, I can't include that. I think it's that really shouldn't be. That shouldn't be the argument. But again, Scott, like, I'm not siding with Glenn. I am, but I do agree that it is boring. Yesterday wouldn't have been the game that I would have picked, to be honest with you, in terms of having that debate. But I appreciate where he's coming. I thought it was a controlled performance. That's the way I described yesterday. I think it was a controlled performance. Interesting as well. Steve, another older fan, who I actually get along very, very well with. I think I'm going to the United game with Steve. This is what he had to say after.
What do you think? I mean, were you at the game today?
Actually, I'm going to take my hat off for this today. I just don't know. I mean, I was at the game. Now, being truthful now, what inspiration did you get out of that at all? I mean, I'm sitting there, we're trying to analyse it, Roger, aren't we? I mean, Roger come there as my guest today, and we're trying to analyse it. I just can't see where it's coming from. I mean, not the only good thing about today, the sun's shining, isn't it?
I know.
At the end of the day, you know what I mean?
We did get a win, though, Steve. So surely there's something.
No, a win's a win, but it just looked as if we were just playing out to the end of the season. We've got so much to play for, haven't we?
So are you seeing a lack of intensity? Is that what it looks like to you?
I mean, since the manager said in December, we're not going to win the league, or, you know, like, we're not good enough to be up there, everything's gone down. What do you think?
What's your reaction to that, Scott? Let me ask you this, because I have to say that both of those come down to playing style, not liking the way that we're playing. But let me ask you the question that Steve asked, which is, what inspiration did you take from that game?
We got a clean sheet. That's the best performance we've had from our goalkeeper in most of the season. Best performance we've had from both of our centre-backs across most of the season. We finally saw our full strength midfield together, and again, one of our better midfield performances across the season. We tried something new in Madueke on the left and it worked. Jackson finally got a goal. Like, to say there's no inspiration out of the game yesterday is just bollocks. Like, it's full-on bollocks. And again, it comes down to boredom, and it comes down to nonsense, and it comes down to this preconceived notion that people have, and like we could have won the game yesterday 4-0 and people would have still found something to complain about because people have made up their mind on this manager and some of these players and the way our season's going. Like, it's bollocks.
Understandably so.
Not understandably so. Like, I don't like some of the things this manager's doing, and I don't like some of these players. Like, I don't think Sanchez is good, but to sit here and say there's no inspiration you can take from the game yesterday, when I'll praise him for what he did yesterday. Like, he had one of his best games of the season yesterday. It doesn't change anything about the rest of the season. Doesn't change anything about him as a player going forward. Same for Chalobah, Cole, any of these guys. But they had one of their best performances that we've seen the whole year. Like, when I say the year, is in the calendar year. And to say there's no inspiration you can take out of that is bollocks. Because if we'd have lost or dropped points, these people would have been the same people complaining.
I think inspiration. I get what you're saying. You're saying there are positives.
No, it's more
what he's
positive.
saying is only finding inspiration. And I mean, a goalkeeper having a good game is good. I don't know if it's inspiring.
Why? How many? Alex, I said it at the start.
Doesn't inspire me.
Robert Sanchez, you can count on one hand and not run out of fingers the amount of good games he's had this season.
Well, I mean, that's just a breath of fresh air. I wouldn't call it inspiring. I don't know if that's the way I would describe it.
You can take you can take inspiration from it in terms of the team can and the like. For example, if we'd have lost that game, like, this is coming from someone who thought we wouldn't get another win for the rest of the season. You can take some of the positives. Like, I still think we're losing to Liverpool. Well, it depends. I think we're losing to Newcastle. Those two of the last games of the season are the most important games we're going to have this season. You can take positives from this game. You can take positives from this game. And you can take inspiration. Like, take the inspiration and the way you played and whatnot in the last game and how you kept a clean sheet, how you defended, how the goalkeeper played. Like, we saw the Madueke thing, as I said. Like, that's something new you can try. You've found something that works. You found a player that you've managed to actually develop really well this season. He's found something to do something. I say it's new. It's not new because he's done it internationally under 21 level, but he's never really done it.
Madueke now, yeah.
Madueke.
Loved him on the left. Loved him. I thought he was great.
I say it's something he's never done at club level outside. I think he played one game there this season, like rotationally. He has done it internationally at a U21 level, but he's never done it at club level. It worked. That's something we've shown we can do. We've now got another club in our bag, which we haven't had the whole season because you tried something new and it worked, which I've been asking for ages, and he's finally tried something new and it worked. We've got Lavia back. If you can keep him fit, I know it's a big if you can keep him fit, that's a huge positive. We've now got Caicedo potentially inverting from right back into midfield, which is a much more comfortable fit for him than it is Reece James doing that. So we've got positives and inspiration you can take. Like, to say there's no inspiration out of a win where we kept a clean sheet, where we played really well against a team that doesn't really concede a lot of goals anyway across the season, I find it bollocks. And as I said, it just comes back to this idea of being bored. And like I said, it's nonsense. It's just complete nonsense.
I mean, I don't fully agree with those comments from both fans. I just understand where they're coming from. Like, going to the games, I would be lying if I said I don't get bored watching it as well. But I didn't feel that way as much against Everton. I was in the Westfield, I wasn't in MHL. Like, I had a lovely view. I had a great view. And I was analysing it, and I was, it's a style of play that you kind of have to appreciate in its own right. You know what you're going to get, and then you just say, all right, can you do it properly? And Lavia was on the pitch, so it was better than what we've seen many times. I definitely think that Madueke on the left is going to be a huge plus for us if we keep him in that position and he continues to show qualities, because what he was able to do is something you would never see from Sancho. We haven't had the opportunity to see it enough from Tyreek George. You don't see it from Neto, and obviously Mudryk isn't available, which is the ability to cut in on your weak foot and still have just as much threat as you would on your strong foot. Because those two shots when he cut inside on his right, I thought that was fantastic. And when he did go on his left, he was whipping balls in. Again, comes back down to getting a striker with box presence. I think when he's on the left side as well and he passes the ball back, it's a little bit quicker because he's passing with his strong foot. I liked it, to be honest with you, Scott. I'm just surprised that Maresca didn't do something like that earlier. In a weird way, I would have never predicted it because we've never seen it. But now that we've seen it once, I'll be more than open to seeing it again.
I don't know why he hasn't tried it across earlier this season as well. That would be a question for him. But yeah, like it works. And I think the thing that with Madueke, there was a couple things. Number one, on the stuff with his weak foot, like that's something that has been worked on. Because like I saw someone tweet this yesterday or today, and I fully agree. Like last season, if that was Madueke, the only thing he's using his right leg for is to stand on. Like outside of that, he wasn't using his right foot last season. When he was, it was absolutely terrible. Even at the start of this season, when he was, it wasn't great, but you could see it had at least been worked on at preseason. And like, it's something that he's developing and it has developed.
Can we just go back to a comment as well, Scott? So Lil Tunechi, who I see quite a lot on the chat as well, says it's crazy as hell. It makes me crazy as hell to see fans accepting such mediocrity and poor standards at our club. Noni is, I think he's trying to say trash. Stop overrating and hyping this lad, please. But can I just say that? Can we not agree he had a good game? I mean, is that overhyping someone to say that they've had a good game?
No, I think that's what like these miserable, and it's kind of, some people might think it's rich come free, but these miserable people, like these miserable fans that have no like joy in their lives, like no one's hyping up anything or like accepting anything. We're talking about how we played yesterday, and it was a very good game. Like I even said earlier when talking about Sanchez, nothing about the way he played yesterday changes the rest of his season. He's still trash. He still sucks. He still needs to leave in the summer. He had a very good game yesterday. Like, just like touch grass, like genuinely speaking. Like, no offense, but touch grass. Like, go outside. Like, just have some joy in your life. Like, legit. Just enjoy the one game.
Yeah. The thing is that obviously some people are very upset about just the direction that we got. So I think this is a much broader issue than just Madueke. But sometimes, you know, we're going to speak a lot about the problems at Chelsea, and there are some problems. You know, Ticketmaster, I think, is another problem, which I want to touch on later on, not today, just because I don't have as much information as I really want to have to be able to go into detail. You know, our ownership, the whole structure of the club has, you know, been a huge issue in the short term failures that we've had, and we've had plenty of them. There's no doubt that, you know, we're still progressing in the sense of you can see better players coming in the door, and next season I can see Chelsea being stronger than this season, even with Europa League football. Like, I don't really have any doubt in that. But then it's like, why am I even thinking about Europa League football? Why are we even in the Conference League right now? And if we would have taken a slightly different approach, we could have been at a very high level right now, arguably in a title race, to be honest with you, because Liverpool didn't. They haven't been special. They've been decent. They haven't been special. Like, they've not been that classic title-winning team that we've seen over the past 5-6 years. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from, especially, like, let's just use Johnny as an example. Johnny has some really good opinions, and I agree with some of the stuff he says. And there's other stuff that, like, because there's this one overlying topic, which is the ownership, like, there's not enough talk, in my opinion, just about football at times. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you can talk about whatever you want, but I don't understand why fans get frustrated, especially if you're on that side, when people do want to talk about football. Doesn't mean that we don't understand the issues that are going on. If anything, I've been one of the most vocal people out there about the ownership and about the issues. I feel like I've been extremely vocal, going on TalkSport with the protests, etc. So, but ultimately, the reason we support the team is for the football. And even if the football's shit, you're going to talk about it. And yesterday, I would argue, I'm more on your side with this one, Scott. I'd say it was a decent performance from Chelsea. It wasn't a great performance. It wasn't a particularly groundbreaking performance. I didn't get off my seat much, but I looked at it and I thought, we're comfy. Like, we're comfortable, and I can go after the game and actually agree with some of the stuff that our manager says for once, and believe that we probably did deserve the win. Whereas I haven't necessarily felt like that in other games.
Yeah, I think honestly, I don't know. I don't know how to word this. I just think that we as fans are spoiled, and I think that too many people I think just too many people just they get like they just want what they want and they want it now. If for lack of a better way of putting it, I think just like I said, just enjoy the things when you can enjoy it, right? Because like I said, we've had a pretty crap season. Well, not season, but like end to the season. We haven't had many wins, especially this calendar year. We haven't really had many good performances. And yeah, just like I think just enjoy the little wins when you can. Like it's the same in life. Like just if you don't enjoy the little wins when you can, you're gonna be fucking miserable in life. And it's the same in football. Like I'll keep saying it just so people understand. Nothing about the game yesterday changes my feelings for the rest of the season. I still don't think we make top 5. I think our running is the hardest of every team challenging currently for top 5. I don't think we make it. However, I can still appreciate the fact that we played well yesterday, and there are positives that we can take, and there are good vibes, again, for lack of a better term, that can be taken within the team that can be taken for the rest of the season. Because like if we can't even do that, then bro, like this goes back to our conversation earlier. What is the point of watching? Like if you can't even be happy and get up for when you win, when your team wins a football match, what's the point of watching? What's the point of supporting a football team? Like what's the point? Do something else with your life. Like seriously, if you can't even be happy that your team won a football match, like and played well, it's not even like I was annoyed after like the Copenhagen game, right, or the Legia Warsaw second leg because we played poorly. And like, even though we won the Copenhagen game, I thought we played really badly. We played well yesterday and won.
Yeah. I want to talk about 2 players. We've spoken about Madueke. We can both agree that he was good. He was very good yesterday. I want to talk about Enzo Fernandez. I want to talk about Cole Palmer as well. Going on Enzo Fernandez, let me just show you. This is another one.
This is the second clip I saw
from Steve, and this one did the rounds. It says the caption is tell me what Enzo does in defense. So let's watch this one together.
Enzo, I don't know about him. I mean, he plays a nice glory ball, but if anyone could player watch Enzo, tell me what he does in defence. Tell me what he does in defence. Does he come back and win a tackle? Casado does that. Lavia today, but Enzo, he don't do it for me. He just don't do it for me. And we look very disjointed. Palmer should be playing off of Jackson, and then we have them 3 holding in midfield, and then we have our 2 wingers. But I mean, I'm not the manager of Chelsea Football Club, but it's fucking easy, isn't it?
So isn't that why we've got Caicedo coming in, though, to sort of help out? And then you can have Fernandez going up a little bit more. Do you not think he offers enough on the ball?
No. He plays a nice glory ball and everything breaks down. He can't get back in and recover. At least Palmer tries to recover. Enzo, I don't know.
Nice glory ball.
You think he was talking about Conor Gallagher or Mason Mount?
Well, let's just get straight into it. I mean, defensively, does he offer enough?
He's not great defensively. I don't know whether
Is there anything that Steve said there that you agree with?
Not fully, but like it's his weakest attribute, is what I say. Defensively is definitely his weakest attribute. We have seen games this year where he has been great defensively. I think the Villa game where he was like the only player that turned up. That day he was immense defensively, but we've also seen him have games. I think it was what was the game? It wasn't Fulham. What was the game we had? There was a game we had recently where he was absolutely atrocious defensively. Like he was awful defensively. I can't remember what game it was. Was it Fulham? It might have been Fulham. I don't remember. I don't remember if it was Fulham. It was one of the recent games we've had. Anyway, so he's like had hit and miss games. Interestingly enough, I saw someone tweet this out about Enzo Fernandez. It might have been a quote tweet to that clip. I think he is, in terms of midfielders,
He's about
like,
second or third in the league.
yeah.
In
Only
terms
behind
of
like Rice.
is it chances created or is it interception?
No, I'm not. I think it's interceptions. He's only behind like Rice and one other, I think.
He's only behind Fernandez for chances created.
Big chances created. He's behind a few people. I looked this up yesterday because someone said he's in 2025, in the calendar year 2025, he's had the most chances created from open play, but across the league,
Okay.
in terms of big chances created across the whole season, he is joint 4th. It's Rice, Fernandez. No, there are 5 players ahead of him: Palmer, Fernandez, Rice, De Bruyne, and one other who I forget. But yeah, like, as I said, defensively is not his best attribute, but like, I just find the whole glory ball thing again. I find this so hard to hear, because if this was another player in the same position doing the same glory ball that Fernandez is accused of doing, we would be told that he works hard for the team and he gets it and he loves the club and all that nonsense. And it's like, it's one rule for some, one rule for others. This is an Enzo Fernandez, by the way. Just going to point out, he got the assist for the goal. There wasn't a glory ball. It was a nice pass, quick, in transition, that got us into the attacking third. But we're just going to forget about that, apparently. Yeah, like, I've not been Enzo's biggest fan at times this season. I thought he started the season badly. He spent half the season being absolutely terrible. He has spent the rest of the season, outside of the odd game here or there, being immense, being unreal. And I still think going forward, Andre Santos eventually takes his position. Eventually. But I'm still going to praise him when he does well. And like the whole setup thing he was talking about, like Palmer playing off Jackson and 2 wingers and 3 holders, we literally have that. It's just Enzo is slightly higher up because he's not as good defensively as the other 2. Like, I don't know if people just watch the game with their eyes closed, if they have like 20 like glasses of beer before the game and it's like where they're watching like cross-eyed or something. I don't know, man. Just
You don't agree with Steve.
No.
I mean, another interesting player, and there's something that's come out from the Athletic as well. Interesting about Cole Palmer, his touch map against Everton yesterday. This is something I'm personally not a fan of whatsoever. And we had a conversation on the podcast today, which I stand by, to be fair. Interesting when Maresca spoke about Cole Palmer. He said he played well. He said he thought he had a good game. I agree with Maresca saying that Palmer had a good game. The problem is that a good game is not a good game for Cole Palmer. It's like saying, let's just say Barcelona, you play Yamal in the same way, or you play Vinicius in the same. It's like, this is the guy who's supposed to score you goals, make things happen, be in the dangerous areas, and you're playing him in a deep area of the pitch where ultimately he can get us playing. He's spreading the ball. Like, I think that Palmer was fine. I actually didn't have a problem individually. If you're saying for the position he was playing and how did he play, 7 out of 10. He was all right. You can see he oozes class. There's no doubt about that. You can see it when he's on the ball. But this is just a player that either was told to go deep because of the manager, I don't actually know, or decided to go deep because for whatever reason he didn't feel like he was in the game further up the pitch in the 10. Maybe it was too crowded. And I just think to myself, again, such an obvious solution. Put him on the right. He can get into more space. He can make things happen. All this absolute waffle about a player not being able to track back. Cole Palmer is more capable of tracking back than any of our other wingers. Maybe Neto is the only one that I could say works harder in that team, who would play in a similar position. He's got a better attitude than Sancho, better attitude than Madueke. No doubt in my mind that Cole Palmer is capable of playing on the right. The argument is that he's not a touchline winger. I want to see it, Scott. I want to see it to believe it. Just like I wanted to see Jorgensen to see if he was good enough. I think we've seen, based on those performances, he probably isn't. But now we've seen it, at least we can hold our hands up as fans and say, fair enough. I just think to myself, I don't know, Scott. I mean, first of all, do you agree with me? Do you think Palmer had a decent game?
No, I think it was like okay. I thought it was not great.
I mean, okay, all right, fine, maybe not decent.
Like I think 4 or
Is
5 out of
that in the deep position, he was all right, but he wasn't shy. But you can do a lot better further up the pitch.
It's just the same as we've been seeing. Like there's too many touches on the ball, too much indecision. Yeah, just you can see there's a lack of confidence, I think. Yeah, just in the way he plays. Like there was that moment he took the ball away from Neto, which I don't mind him doing, but then he can play Neto down the right hand side, cuts it back inside, like kind of kills the attack. It's had too many moments like that. Just like it takes way too many touches on the ball. Interesting. Like, I had a little look because I was interested. Because I do think I want to see him on the right hand side just to see how it looks. But I do find it interesting. Last season he played the same amount of games for us on the right wing as he did in the number 10 position. What I'd be interested to see, which I can't seem to find, and I would love someone to find for me, is his average position, or like his average touch map across the season last season compared to this season. Because I want to see how similar it is. If it is similar, how different it is. If it is different, where he's taking the majority of his touches. Because like what I'm seeing in front of me, like this touch map doesn't really look too dissimilar to what he was doing when he was on the right wing last season.
I mean, there's actually a little bit more, I think, as well.
Outside of like some of the deeper stuff.
So we've got, I think is this a heat map and top pass receivers as well. So we've got a few different things.
You're seeing he's playing in like almost in like a right wing position based on the heat map.
Yeah, he is drifting over, isn't he?
And yeah, so like I don't know. Like I don't think what's happening with Palmer at the moment is down to the manager utilizing him wrong. I think it's down to Palmer just not being in form. Like I think we're past the point of this being on the manager, and people can say otherwise, but he has played against every type of opposition you can play against. He has played against top teams. He has played against mid-table teams. He's played against relegation teams. He's played against Conference League teams. He has 0 in 17. So I think we're past the point of it being on the manager at this point. It's like it's on Palmer as well. Like he was the worst player on the pitch for me yesterday from a Chelsea perspective.
Yeah. I mean, just looking at what they said as well, it says the touch map above is consistent with a pure midfielder, which is a problem considering Palmer's firmly established himself as Chelsea's best finisher. And I guess that's kind of my point as well, isn't it? It's not that he played badly in that position, but it's like, why was he there? And then it comes back to mental or tactical. People are saying maybe it's a bit of both. I don't know the answer, to be honest. I won't pretend to know the answer, but I don't think that you have a drop-off in form that badly with a player of that quality. I think Palmer's quality is not the same conversation as Nicholas Jackson, going however many months without a goal. I know he had injuries but you understand my point. Like, this is a guy at the beginning of the season, we were having, or the footballing world was having a conversation about potentially being in the Ballon d'Or conversation. Not saying winning it, but top 10. Proper player. He is a baller. And I just don't see it being mental collapse. I don't see him. I don't see him not trying either. Some people say he's on the beach. Father said that yesterday. He thinks Palmer's mentally checked out. I'm thinking, no, that's not true.
I don't know if checked out's the right word, but I think he's like not. I think mentally is is. I don't know if it's all mental. I think it's mostly mental though, because you can say it's like a player of this quality, but players of this quality, of the quality he's meant to be, like even Saka, for example, when things are going bad for Arsenal and have gone bad for Arsenal in the past, he has still stepped up. He has still put that club on his back when they were under Emery, when they were under Arteta in the doldrums, when they were 16th and 8th and all that. He was still putting the club on his back and performing across multiple seasons. I'm trying to think of other players. Like we've seen players put like, I'm not saying that he's better than Palmer, as good as Palmer, but you look at what Ahmad was doing before he got injured. Like, despite United playing like crap, despite being on 2 managers, still performing. And that's the thing of like, and that's where like, since this poor run of form Palmer's gone on, these 17 games, the fact that Jackson has had more moments of, or at least the same amount of moments of like putting the team on his back and winning us the game like he did today, that Palmer has there been a single moment in these last 17 games that outside of the pass he did to Enzo for the goal that we scored against Fulham, has there been any other moments you can think of where Palmer has put the team on his back during this run of form to push us through a game or get us to win or get us back into it?
We certainly created chances. I mean, he got the assist against Tottenham. He's been very creative. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But that is tactical, because that has got something to do with what the manager's either where the manager's putting him, which is in a position where he's going to create more for his teammates, or what the manager's saying. And the fact that actually by putting Palmer in a more creative role, you are then relying on other players, unproven players, if you want to compare their numbers to Palmer, to try and replicate even 50% of what he did last season, which is difficult. I don't know what it is exactly, 36 GA, I think, in the Prem, something like that. Those are outstanding numbers. So when I see Palmer creating all these chances, like, I'm not just criticizing him. Obviously, he's creating. He's extremely talented. But I want to see Palmer scoring the goals. I want to see Palmer in the position to finish the chances. And I think that's something that we're not seeing under this manager, is he's using Palmer as a creator, not necessarily a match winner.
I think a lot of it's Palmer as well. Like, we've seen moments where Palmer this season has had the chance to score. I'm specifically talking since he's got in this run, where like he's still a goal scorer. The number 10s in this team are still goal scorers. Just because it's Enzo Fernandez and Palmer when we have the ball, just because it's those two in the 10s and they obviously are very creative players. Like, Enzo Fernandez has like 12 goals on the season.
I would love to see the heat map from last season as well. I would love to see that, just to compare. I don't know what it is.
To score. He got in the box to score against Fulham and I think it was Fulham, and put it into Rosette. He put it out the stadium. Like,
sorry, we're talking about Palmer still, yeah?
Yeah, Palmer. Like, Palmer had the chance to score. I think it was against Fulham. Put it out the stadium. He's had the chance to score from the penalty spot, which he was impeccable at last season. Didn't miss a single penalty. Then he missed a penalty because he wasn't he didn't have confidence, and you could see with the way he took the penalty. And he's had chances to score, and like, there are how many times last season against Everton, especially when he's got those 4 goals against other teams, you see him pick the ball at the edge of his feet, code it into the far corner. He's had so many opportunities to do that since he's been in this bad run of form, and every single time has either kicked it straight at the goalkeeper, kicked it wide, kicked it against the defender, or more often than not, doubted himself, taking an extra touch and killed the attack, and it's gone out wide. So we can say it's Somaresca as much as we want, but when you're getting into positions that you were getting into last season and scoring or taking shots and doing stuff you're not doing now, even earlier on in the season he was doing this and he's not doing it now, I've got no one else to blame but you, because how is it that everyone else can turn up against Everton and you can't? That's not a manager issue.
I wouldn't say Palmer didn't turn up.
I don't think he turned up against Everton.
I wouldn't say that he didn't turn up. I'd say for the position he was playing in, I think he did all right. The problem is, why was he playing in that position? Why was he there?
He's played there the whole season. He was playing there when he scored
that deep the whole season. He hasn't.
He has played in that deep the whole season.
No. He hasn't been that deep.
Hang on, look at the map. You can see above us the
I was watching the game yesterday, Scott, and for me,
the whole season
he was in a deep midfield role a large portion of that game, not in the 10. He was not in positions to shoot consistently. He was not in a position to pick that final pass. He was the pass that then opened the space for someone else to pass. He wasn't on that final ball. He was not in a position to get an assist or score a goal. That was the issue that I had with the game. And that is why, again, testament to his quality. Still thought he was all right. But Palmer is a fucking great player and not an all right player. So when we say that Dewsbury Hall's all right, it's like, oh, it's probably good by his standards. Or other players in, Felix, it's different. So when Palmer's all right, that is a red flag because he's fucking class. And we saw consistently that he could be class, not just last season, even this season. I'm not just saying, it was last season he played with more freedom. There wasn't as much of a structure. He's obviously got clear instructions about what he can do, what he can't do. Maybe that has a toll. We are playing against low blocks. We've struggled against those teams. But you can't tell me that the positioning was not a factor in the performance, because if that heat map was further up the pitch or more central in places in the box, whatever it is, you would see Palmer be able to make more of an impact. And
I don't think we would. We've seen that this season. Like I said, we've had multiple times this season where he's been in positions where he can make an impact and hasn't done anything because he's been going through this poor form, which is down to him.
But that's not a problem, Scott, because then that argument is absolutely correct. If Palmer misses chances, but he's in the position to actually have the chance, I can't blame Maresca for that.
But he's had that already, so
But he didn't have it.
Nothing different.
That's the problem.
He hasn't. He did. He had chances against Everton. He got picked up the ball outside the box. He had plenty of chances. He was doing the same thing he was doing last season. He's doing the same thing he's done before this season. It's the same thing. He just doesn't score. He's not playing well. That is down to him. That is down to
playing deep. Can we agree that he's playing deeper?
No.
That's not.
And he was at the start of the season. No,
Scott. Come on.
It's not true.
You don't think he's playing deeper?
No.
He's clearly playing deeper.
What, compared to the start of the season? No, he's not.
No, I'm just saying, since Maresca come in, Palmer has played a deeper role, 100%. And that was exaggerated against Everton. Now, there are games like Wolves, blah, blah, blah. Yes, further up, in positions, Southampton, I thought Palmer should have scored when we won 4-0. He missed a good chance there. There's countless games that we could say that. But I'm just talking about Everton specifically, saying that he was not in a position to make enough of an impact on that game to arguably, well, not arguably, we did win the game, to extend our lead or be the catalyst for a goal or an assist. You can't create enough if you're near the halfway line. You've got to be near the box, mate.
His map, by the way, is Jesus Christ, that's terrible.
Do you want me to zoom in on it?
No, I'm looking at his previous from other games.
Okay.
Going that way. It's not. He got slightly further forward.
But again, Scott, my argument isn't about all games necessarily. I'm highlighting the Everton game. The Everton game is where I thought, fucking hell, that's not good.
And I don't think he was deeper.
You don't think he was deep against Everton?
And no deeper than he has been the rest of the season. I'm looking, it's the same against Villa, kind of the same against Brighton, same against West Ham. This is just him. This is just him at the moment. This is just how he is playing, how he's being utilized, and it's how our 10s have been utilized this season. It's something I've not been happy with at all times. But everyone else is managing to make it work. Enzo Fernandez is managing to make it work.
Well, Fernandez is different. I mean, Fernandez is a player that I would want to be deeper. I haven't got a problem with him making runs.
He still manages to score. He still manages to score and affect the game. Despite that, if Cole Palmer is as good as he is, and this is, by the way, we're acting like Cole Palmer hasn't played deeper in his career. He has. He played there for City. He is he should be able to affect the game. I just think
that if you're looking at what Palmer did yesterday, just as an example, I mean, even Fernandez, his assist wasn't that far at the pitch. He was just over the halfway line when they received the ball. And that's great, and like, no problem whatsoever. I'm not saying that Palmer should be doing that, but what I am saying is that, yeah, you're seeing progression from Enzo Fernandez, no doubt, and credit to him. That's what you want to see, but I'm not seeing the same progression with Palmer. And how can you rely on a player to match any of the stats that he got last season, or even just looking at the beginning of the season, playing like he did against Everton? You just won't do it. You will not do it, because you're not getting enough chances in terms of positionally to be able to even have a crack at times. You could be outside the box against a low block, Scott. Fucking hell. You could be a centre-back in this team and be outside the box to have a crack. Tossing, he scored a couple against Morecambe, didn't he? So you've got to have more clear-cut chances than that. You know, it's not just about when we have the ball. It's about transition. There's a number of different aspects. I did see something earlier about when Palmer does actually score goals. A lot of it is to do with transition. I can't find it off the top of my head. So that would be interesting to see. But I can't sit here and say that I'm pleased with the way he's been utilised, because I just don't think he is being utilised. I don't think that that's how you get the best out of Cole Palmer.
I'm looking at his heat map, by the way, for some of the games from last season, and they would shock you.
No, fair enough. Like again, I don't know what his heat map was. And he was playing on the right, so presumably he was tracking back.
No, I'm looking at the one from Everton last season. I'm looking at the one
last
from
season when he won 6-0.
Yeah, I'm looking at the one from Bournemouth. I'm looking at the one from
Can you
Forest.
get me the 6-0?
That's the 6-0.
Can you get it up, or?
Let me see. I haven't shared stuff on. Let me send you the link. Basically, I'm looking at it on SofaScore.
Where are you sending it? On the private?
Yeah, I put it in the private chat. It's interesting just to look at, because like there was plenty of games like against Brentford. It looks like he was entirely on the right wing. Well, not entirely, but mostly on the right wing. Like kind of similar for Newcastle. Definitely same for City.
This is this season or last season?
No, I'm looking at last season. I'm just comparing. But like Wolves last season.
The one I'm looking at now.
No, that's that season. If you go up a little bit, or if you scroll out and you go to the matches, there you go. If you like where it says like the matches on the rating, if you go up on the right hand side, you see where it's got each of the badges for the like teams. Yeah, if you go to 23-24 and click on each team, it brings up a little like thing at the.
I'm with you.
Like you click on, if you go back and click on Everton's.
Fuck yeah, now.
Yeah, no, 10.
Whew.
If you click on the Everton one, and then I think there's a few others like, the Brentford one is the one he plays.
I mean, even
like,
if you look at that one, Scott, if you're trying to, I mean, let's just look at Everton as an example. Oh, fuck's sake, let me slide across. Yeah, there you go. Bloody technical problems on here. You can see it well enough, though, can't you? Like, it's not hard to see. Can you see it properly?
Yeah, I can see it properly.
You can see it. And then you compare that with, let's just see the heat map. Okay.
Some of these are interesting, to be fair, to go back and look at, just on a side note. Like, I'm going back and looking like when he has played right wing. And this is why, to be fair, just while you're looking it up, I do want him to be tried on the right wing at times, because like you saw the variance from last season, despite the fact it was chaos football and we were way too reliant on him. You did see the variance, and I think there were times like I'm looking at a game against like I think it was Sheffield United. I just looked at, I can't remember. Yeah, Sheffield United.
Everton's definitely deeper. It's 100% deeper. Look at that. You can't dispute that. That's definitely deeper.
Get them both up side by side. If you click both of them, you can get them up side by side.
Can I do that?
Yeah, you can. So, click 23-24, and then go across to Everton. It opens up both.
That's
that one. He's way high. He's a lot higher up. I'll concede that one. And that United game is interesting, and that's like it's that one. And then
look at where the majority of the heat is coming from. The majority of the heat against Everton, 6-0,
It's coming in
is-
around the same area. The majority of the heat in both games coming
No,
around the
it's
same
what
area.
the majority of the heat
No,
against
it's not.
Everton,
It's
the
coming
1-0
around the
is
same
closer
area.
to the halfway line. This one is closer to the box. And it's the same with United. You've got a massive
No,
heat.
I will concede the United one is different. I was going to say that's it, and the United one is why I would like to see him play on the right hand side.
I mean, even
two
looking
Everton
at, let's go
if you're
back
looking at
another
the
game.
majority of there are times, and I will again, he is dropping deeper in the game more, but you'll say where he
Let's
spends the
go look
majority
at
of time.
the
That
Brentford
one's
again.
not.
Like, look at
Yeah,
Brentford.
Brentford one is
You know,
entirely. I think he
and
was
maybe,
right with that
I don't want to say that this is just one game because again, my concern is specifically on that game. Ipswich was
much
better
deeper as well. Like the Ipswich one is. I think the difference between Everton, and this is actually, I will say, what was different with Palmer's game, and I think I liked it more with what he did, even though I don't think it was a great game from Palmer. I'm glad Maresca did this, and you see it there with was that the Ipswich game?
Yeah,
there was less movement horizontally from him. Like he wasn't popping up in the left half space, like basically at all. He was always on the right hand side, which I liked. Like I think we've spoken about, or has been spoken about. I don't know about on here, but I certainly on Lewis's channel and others about him playing in the right half space more. We saw it. You see in that Ipswich one, he's all across the front line. Like he's still dropping deep as well. Like again, there was a large portion that was behind the halfway line, but it's all in front of the box, which can be good and cannot be good. But yeah, I think, honestly, like I said, I think with him, so much of it at the moment is coming down to him mentally, and he needs to work out how to get out of that because he is still getting opportunities, he's still getting chances, he's still having moments where he can affect the game, like he did against Fulham. That was really well done what he did against Fulham, and like the assist he got against Tottenham, but he's not doing that enough, and he needs to change that. And he's got 4 games to do that in, not including the Conference League, but 4 games where 2 of those teams he historically has not performed against, outside of the 4-3 last season. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he can turn up in those games.
Hey, we'll see what happens. Let us know in the chat as well what you think, guys. Smash the like button if you haven't already. We've got over 80 of you in the building at the moment. We only got 32 likes, people. Run those likes up, guys. Run the likes up. Let's get up to 50 as well. Let's get up to 50 in the next sort of minute or so. It doesn't cost a penny. Helps a lot. Look, even Scott will smile. If we get 50 likes on this, Scott will smile for you. There you go. We've got it on stream. He's going to do it. It takes a lot to get Scott to smile. You might have to get a 60
I was
for that.
smiling after the game yesterday. I seem to be one of the only ones that was smiling based on reactions as well, fans.
No, to be fair, Scott, I mean, I was happy. People seem to think that I'm unhappy when we win just because I don't like the manager. I mean, I have to admit, I've been here before, Maresca. I do enjoy watching Chelsea win. It's not a bad thing. Anyway,
by the way, one thing before we go, as good as everything was, I don't know if you saw his comments after the game. He doesn't help himself sometimes.
Maresca.
Yeah, he made some comment about it being the first game playing in 20 degrees weather or something, and just
Scott,
say we
that's why I think he's a clown.
Just say it was a good win and stop shooting yourself in the foot.
That's why I think he's a clown. But I'll always try and take the positives if I believe there are any there. So no, I still think Maresca's a poor coach. Just to be clear, guys, don't think he's capable. But each to their own, eh? Listen, guys, big up to everyone. Scott, pleasure, mate, having you on.
As always.
Thanks for your time, as always. We'll be back at 1 o'clock, guys. There'll be another show tomorrow. And we'll catch up very soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening.